As the Arctic's permafrost melts, it's revealing something extraordinary. Prehistoric creatures, frozen for thousands of years, emerging in near-perfect condition. These ancient animals, some still covered in fur with intact organs, offer an unparalleled glimpse into a world humans have never seen firsthand. Many of these frozen remains belong to species long extinct, their bodies locked away since the Ice Age. Now, thanks to nature's deep freeze, we can look into the faces of creatures that once roamed the prehistoric landscapes of Earth. From a perfectly preserved Ice Age foal with liquid blood to a saber-toothed cat frozen in time, these discoveries are nothing short of incredible. Let's take a look at 15 strange prehistoric creatures found frozen in ice, starting with number 15, the Etherican bear. In 2020, reindeer herders in Siberia's Bolshoi Etherican River stumbled upon a shocking sight. A mummified bear so well preserved that even its fur, teeth, and internal organs were intact. Initially, scientists thought they had found a cave bear, or as scientists love to call it, the great Ursus spelaeus, an Ice Age species that went extinct 24,000 years ago. However, DNA tests later confirmed that this was actually an ancient brown bear that lived 3,500 years ago. Though not as old as expected, the bear was still a major discovery. Its stomach contained the remains of its last meal, including bird feathers and plant material, offering a rare look into what Ice Age bears ate. Even more haunting? The bear's spine was crushed, likely from a massive block of permafrost collapsing on top of it. Scientists are still unsure how it ended up on an island 50 kilometers away from the mainland, but this prehistoric predator's fate remains frozen in time. Number 14, frozen saber-toothed cat. No, it's not from Ice Age, it's real. In 2020, deep in Siberian permafrost, scientists uncovered a 3-week-old saber-toothed kitten, a baby Homotherium latidens, also known as the scimitar-toothed cat. This was a game-changer. Not only was it 35,000 to 37,000 years old, but it was the first saber-toothed cat mummy ever found. Unlike modern big cats, Homotherium had shorter, serrated saber teeth, thick fur, and a more muscular neck for taking down Ice Age prey. This cub's ears were rounded and low-set, an adaptation for surviving freezing temperatures. Its fur was thick, its paws suited for walking on snow, and its whiskers even had tiny, frozen details. But the most surprising discovery? The cat's large lip structure suggested that its saber teeth were hidden when its mouth was closed, challenging old reconstructions that depicted saber-toothed cats always baring their fangs. This find not only preserved a prehistoric predator, it reshaped our entire understanding of how these legendary Ice Age hunters looked. Number 13, the best preserved baby woolly rhino. In 2015, a Siberian hunter made an unbelievable discovery, a mummified baby woolly rhino frozen in permafrost for over 34,000 years. Nicknamed Sasha, this was the first juvenile woolly rhino ever found, and its preservation was jaw-dropping. Unlike typical Ice Age fossils, Sasha's skin, fur, and even some internal organs were still intact. Adult woolly rhino remains had been found before, but never a baby. Sasha gave scientists a rare glimpse into how these Ice Age giants lived, how they adapted to frigid climates, and even what they ate. DNA extracted from Sasha has helped researchers understand how woolly rhinos evolved and has even fueled discussions about potential cloning. Though Sasha will never roam the tundra again, its frozen body has provided groundbreaking insights into an extinct species. And with permafrost continuing to melt, it's likely more prehistoric creatures like Sasha are waiting beneath the ice. Number 12, the frozen mid-flight. In 2020, researchers in Siberia's permafrost made an astonishing find, a 46,000-year-old Ice Age bird, so perfectly preserved that its feathers, claws, and beak looked as if it had just fallen from the sky. Scientists identified it as a horned lark, a species that still exists today, but had slightly different features in the Ice Age. The bird had likely frozen mid-flight, caught in a sudden cold snap, and remained untouched for millennia. What makes this discovery even wilder is the quality of its DNA. It's so well preserved that scientists are using it to compare genetic changes between Ice Age birds and modern ones, offering insights into how species evolve over time. Finding a perfectly intact prehistoric bird is a once-in-a-lifetime event, and as the permafrost continues to melt, there's no telling what else might emerge from the frozen depths of time. Number 11. A mammoth mystery. Oscar, Grammy, or trillions of dollars can't buy the kind of preservation Yucca has. This 39,000-year-old woolly mammoth, found in Siberia in 2010, is one of the best preserved mammoths ever discovered. But Yucca isn't just famous for her intact fur, skin, and even brain. She carries a far more chilling secret. Her body wasn't just frozen, it was butchered. Deep-cut marks across her flesh suggest early humans carved her up, making Yucca the first mammoth found with direct evidence of human interaction. The real question? Did Ice Age hunters kill her, or did they scavenge her body after she died? Some believe she was injured and trapped in ice, becoming an easy meal. Others think ancient humans might have been storing meat in permafrost, making Yucca an early example of prehistoric refrigeration. Either way, Yucca has rewritten what we know about the relationship between humans and Ice Age megafauna. Number 10. 46,000-year-old living worms. When Siberian scientists thawed permafrost samples in 2018, they expected to find microscopic organisms. What they didn't expect? Two species of 46,000-year-old nematode worms wake up and move again. Yes, these tiny creatures, frozen since the Ice Age, came back to life after being in suspended animation for tens of thousands of years. Found inside ancient squirrel burrows 30 meters below the surface, these worms immediately began eating and reproducing once thawed. They were identified as a completely new species, Panagrolimus colomaiensis, related to modern nematodes but previously unknown. Scientists believe these worms entered a state called cryptobiosis, where an organism completely shuts down its metabolism to survive extreme conditions. This discovery wasn't just prehistoric, it changed everything we know about biology, hinting at possibilities for long-term space travel, cryogenic medicine, and even life on frozen planets like Mars. Number 9. Lena horse foal. In 2018, deep in Siberia's Batagaika crater, nicknamed the doorway to the underworld or hell, scientists unearthed an eerie, almost untouched foal. This wasn't just any prehistoric horse, it was a 42,000-year-old Lena horse, or Equus lenensis, frozen so perfectly that even its internal organs, fur, and liquid blood remained intact. This tiny foal, only 39 inches tall, likely drowned in mud as a newborn before the freezing conditions locked it in time. Every detail, from its dark bay coat to its delicate hooves, is still visible, making it one of the best preserved Ice Age mammals ever found. What makes this discovery even wilder is that scientists extracted liquid blood and attempted to clone the species using modern horses as surrogates. While cloning efforts haven't been successful yet, this foal is an astonishing prehistoric time capsule, offering a glimpse into an Ice Age world where wild horses roamed alongside mammoths. This thing is a beauty. What you say? Number 8. Prehistoric wolf pup. Discovered in 2016 near Dawson City in Canada's Yukon Territory, Jur, the most complete Ice Age wolf ever found, was a 6-week-old pup that lived 57,000 years ago. This tiny prehistoric wolf, named after the hen word for wolf, was so well preserved that even her fur, whiskers, and toe pads remained intact. Scientists determined that she died when her den collapsed, instantly sealing her in permafrost. Unlike modern wolves, Zhur's lineage belonged to an ancient group that eventually went extinct, replaced by more modern wolves that migrated from Asia. By analyzing her teeth, scientists discovered that her mother's diet consisted mainly of aquatic prey, likely salmon, suggesting Ice Age wolves hunted fish, much like modern Alaskan wolves. Zhur's DNA also confirmed that she wasn't directly related to any wolves alive today, proving that Ice Age wolves had unique lineages that were completely wiped out. Now, let's talk about number 7. The cave lion cubs. In 2017, deep in Siberia, researchers uncovered something straight out of the Ice Age, a perfectly preserved cave lion cub frozen in permafrost for over 28,000 years. Named Sparta, this tiny predator was found with her fur, skin, and even whiskers still intact, making her one of the most well-preserved Ice Age animals ever discovered. Sparta likely met her fate in a sudden mudslide, which buried and froze her before decomposition could begin. These prehistoric big cats, larger than modern lions, once ruled the icy plains of Eurasia, hunting alongside mammoths and saber-toothed cats. The level of preservation is so astounding that some scientists have even proposed cloning as a possibility. While that remains a long shot, Sparta offers a rare and breathtaking glimpse into a lost world where Ice Age lions were still kings of the tundra. Number 6. The frozen missing link. This one sounds like a sideshow hoax, but for years, many believed it was the real deal. In the 1960s and 70s, a frozen human-like creature known as the Minnesota Iceman was displayed across America, drawing massive crowds and sparking debates about its authenticity. Described as a hairy, ape-like humanoid, cryptozoologists Bernard Heuvelmans and Ivan Sanderson examined the body in 1968 and were convinced it was a new species, possibly the missing link between humans and Neanderthals. They even gave it a scientific name, Homo pongoides. But then things got sketchy. The Iceman's owner, Frank, kept changing its origin story, saying it came from Vietnam, Siberia, or even Japan. Later studies suggested the body was a latex model, leading many to dismiss it as a hoax. Today, the Iceman is on display at the Museum of the Weird in Texas, but questions about whether the original was real or switched out still fuel conspiracy theories. Number 5. The best preserved mammoth. If there's a gold standard for frozen mammoths, it's Luba. Discovered in 2007 in Siberia, this 42,000-year-old baby mammoth is the best preserved of its kind. From her skin and hair to her internal organs, Luba looks shockingly fresh, as if she died just days ago. Her discovery was a scientific jackpot. Luba's entire body provided insights into Ice Age climates, mammoth diets, and even their immune systems. But her death was tragic. Scientists believe she drowned after getting trapped in mud, her lungs and trunk filled with sediment. Luba's DNA has been extracted and studied extensively, and some scientists believe cloning could one day bring mammoths back. While the ethics of de-extinction are debatable, Luba's discovery is proof that Ice Age secrets are still waiting beneath the permafrost, and maybe, just maybe, mammoths could walk the earth again. Number 4. A frozen graveyard. In 2016, scientists exploring Cape Irizar, Antarctica, stumbled upon something eerie, a seemingly abandoned penguin colony. The ground was littered with mummified penguins, bones, and eggshells, yet no Adelie penguins had lived there for thousands of years. The truth was even stranger. Melting ice had uncovered a prehistoric graveyard, exposing penguins that had been frozen for up to 5,000 years. Some were so well preserved that their feathers and beaks were still intact, as if they had just perished. The scene was a chilling reminder of how climate shifts have shaped life for thousands of years. As Antarctica's ice continues to retreat, ancient secrets, some millions of years old, are being uncovered. This colony, once buried beneath a frozen wasteland, is just the beginning. Who knows what other long-lost creatures might surface next? Number 3. The hibernating squirrel. At first glance, it looked like nothing more than a clump of fur and claws. But don't just a lady by her dress. When you look at it closely, it reveals something shocking. A mummified Arctic ground squirrel, curled up as if it had fallen asleep just yesterday. Found in Canada's Yukon Territory, this Ice Age survivor had been hibernating for over 30,000 years, except it never woke up. X-ray scans showed that it had curled into a tight ball, just like modern squirrels do before winter. But something went wrong, possibly a sudden deep freeze or a collapsed burrow, sealing the tiny creature in permafrost and preserving it perfectly. Unlike most Ice Age fossils, which are just bones, this squirrel still had delicate fur, whiskers, and tiny claws intact. It offers an extraordinary glimpse into the small, everyday creatures that lived alongside mammoths and saber-toothed cats. A perfect time capsule from an Ice Age long forgotten. Number 2. A tattooed time traveler. In 1993, archaeologists in Siberia's Altai Mountains unearthed one of the most fascinating frozen discoveries ever. A 2,500-year-old woman preserved in permafrost so well that her skin, hair, and even tattoos were still visible. Nicknamed the Siberian Ice Maiden, she wasn't just any mummy. Her intricate, swirling tattoos suggested she held high status in her culture. Her burial was just as elaborate. She was found dressed in fine clothing, buried with jewelry, and surrounded by 6 sacrificed horses. An MRI scan later revealed something heartbreaking. She had breast cancer, leading scientists to believe she may have been a revered healer or shaman. But locals have a different theory. They believe disturbing her tomb unleashed a curse. After her removal, earthquakes struck the region, fueling legends that her spirit was angry. Was she a warrior priestess, a healer, or something even more mysterious? Her tattoos might hold clues we've yet to decode. Number 1. The ancient bison. In 2011, scientists made an unbelievable find in northern Siberia, a 9,000-year-old steppe bison frozen so well that its heart, brain, and blood vessels were still intact. This was no mere skeleton. This was a fully mummified Ice Age giant. Steppe bison were massive, powerful creatures roaming across North America, Europe, and Asia before going extinct. The preservation of this specimen was so detailed that researchers could study its muscles, skin, and even its woolly coat. Then, in 2022, another steppe bison, 8,000 years old, was found with similarly intact tissues. Some scientists believe cloning could be possible using DNA extracted from these specimens. If so, we might one day see herds of prehistoric bison roaming the tundra once more. Whether or not cloning happens, these discoveries offer an unmatched look into Ice Age ecosystems, revealing how these giants once thrived in the harshest climates on Earth. If you've enjoyed this video, like and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you soon.